How to parent and be productive in isolation. Welcome to your daily motivation and inspiration with Dan. This video is all about parenting and being productive while separating, and it's pretty challenging. Lately I've been interviewed a couple of times about parenting and being productive because it's what I do and it's what I've been doing for many years. In fact, my children, 3 boys, are all homeschooled, so we have to be productive. Both my wife and I have businesses, so we have to be very productive and we have to manage them at the same time. They need to be schooled and also get attention. And speaking of attention, that's the number one thing that children want. They all want attention. In fact, we want attention, but they want it even more so, it seems. And they also tell us. They don't hold back, especially the young ones. They tell us exactly what they want. And so you have to realize that, if you have children at home, they want your attention. They're used to getting attention. They're at school all day, and they're used to getting lots of love and attention and interaction. And if they're not getting that, guess what? Their habits haven't changed. So they're expecting that from you. And so then when that happens, how do you handle it? Well, the key is to have some boundaries, first of all, because you need to clarify what it is that you're doing, especially if you have a business like I do, or if you are still in your career and working at home, then you need to be able to have some boundaries so that they're not interrupting you all the time. Otherwise, it can be a pretty chaotic day. And every time you get interrupted and have to go back to what you were doing, you lose about 15 minutes. So, your day might get stretched late into the day, and then you don't get the right amount of sleep, and this can be a chronic pattern after a while. So you need to have some boundaries in terms of your time and attention that you're giving to them, and then the time and attention that you're giving to your work. So that's number one. You definitely want to have some boundaries, and the way that you set boundaries is you define times when you're going to be working and then when you're going to be available. That's the easiest way to set boundaries. And also, even use timers, especially if you have young children. I have a client who has a 3-year-old, and she has a timer. And there's great timers online. There's a countdown timer that looks like a duck. And so you can set that up on one of your devices and give it to your child, and then they can use the timer. So you set boundaries. And also, another way to indicate, especially with children that don't quite pay attention or don't really think too much about what you're doing, if you have something like a hat or headphones or something, you can put that on and you let them know, when I am wearing this hat or these headphones, I'm busy and I can't talk to you at this moment unless it's an emergency. So you set some boundaries. You also want to clarify what's going on with them and listen to them. And if a child has an emotional outburst, you really have to just let them go through the emotion. It's like telling a drunk that they're drunk. You can't. So you have to let them go through the emotion, let them feel it, and then come back afterwards. So that's another important thing as well. And then the other thing that you can do is to let them, especially if it's a young child, let them work with you. Let them take their coloring book or their activity book or something like that and be in your space with you. Let them be with you. This is really unusual. This is, it's called a black swan. This is completely unusual, unexpected, unpredictable, unpredicted. And so being in isolation with children is not common, and it's straining a lot of people. There's a lot of stress there. So like I said, if you create boundaries and you communicate and you set timers and you let them know when you're going to be available to give them the attention that they want and love, then they're going to feel so much better. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know, comment below. Jump over to my YouTube channel and check that out too. I have other videos that will teach you how to get through life and get through this isolation. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.